A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.
And Marilyn was as big a star as any in Hollywood history, and even now, 50 years after her death, her legacy lives on.
And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind.
Christened Norma Jean Baker, the blonde bombshell was born to be a star. She worked in a munitions factory during World War II and was snapped in this photo. She was on her way to a promising modeling career. Spotted by a film executive, she was placed in the movie that launched her as a sex symbol superstar, 1953's Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.
That year also saw the launch of Playboy, and Marilyn featured on the first ever cover. Her image as a sex siren on the silver screen was heightened in 1955 when she played a temptress in The 7-Year Itch.
Oh, do you feel the breeze from the subway? Isn't it delicious?
In 1959, she starred in Some Like It Hot as a musician on the run after witnessing a brutal mob hit.
Story of my life. I always get the fuzzy end of the lollipop.
Marilyn's personal life was, of course, rife with rumors, including an alleged affair with President John F. Kennedy, who was given a special performance in 1962. It turned out to be Marilyn's final significant appearance.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
Goodbye, Norma Jean. No, I never knew you at all. You had the grace to hold yourself, but those around you crawled.
Her death at the age of just 36 shocked the world. She'd overdosed on sleeping tablets after a traumatic and tabloid-fueled life. But her fame certainly lives on.
Darling, as I'm in England, let's say I sleep in nothing but Yardley's lavender.
I spoke to author Danforth Prince about Marilyn Monroe's life and why her legacy lives on. Danforth, thank you for coming on the show. Marilyn Monroe died nearly 50 years ago. Why this continuing fascination with her?
I think part of the fascination with her is a result of the present unhappy times in America. I think all of us cling to the memory, whether it's an illusion or not, of happier times when sexuality and entertainment was more straightforward than it is today. I think that Marilyn Monroe, along with Elvis Presley, were really the first people who taught white America how to get down, how to have fun, and how to lose some of the judgmentalism that had been associated with sexuality prior to her arrival on the entertainment scene.
Well, part of the fascination, as you say, is Marilyn Monroe getting down. There are so many stories about her love life. Have you been able to sort through what's true and what's not?
It's very interesting to re-examine her 50 years after her death. The stories about her have indeed needed sorting out, as you have said. There are so many half-truths. I think part of the problem stemmed from the fact that Marilyn herself was not a particularly reliable witness and often changed her story.
So who were some of her famous lovers?
Well, I think, as you have with anyone who is extremely good-looking and extremely seductive and extremely insecure, they were indeed numerous. Lex Barker, who was the Tarzan character, one of the Tarzans, who was also the former husband of Lana Turner. There was Steve McQueen for a period. There was Paul Newman for a period. There were 4 of the Kennedys, including Papa Joe during a brief period when she was filming The Asphalt Jungle. It was her husband, Arthur Miller, for whatever motivation that was, perhaps looking for a father figure. The list is long indeed.
Marilyn didn't seem to be a happy person deep down, did she? She really struggled with a terrible childhood.
Terrible beyond belief. There was indeed a history of mental illness, as evidenced by her mother's being in an asylum for a while. I think Clark Gable defined her in The Misfits. He said, "You look like an unhappy woman who has a gift of making men happy." When I watch Marilyn being incandescent in some of those movie scenes, I'm always struck by the degree to which she was both alluring and vulnerable and non-judgmental.
Now there's a film about her time in England. First of all, tell us about that week, and then what do you think of the film?
Michelle, who played Marilyn, is gifted and does a brilliant interpretation within a relatively limited context of a movie which can't go into the historical nature of her anguish, the demons that tormented her soul, or the history that she brought with her as baggage to England. There were enormous dramas going on during her time in England. She arrived in England to the fanfare of photographers and press and tabloid coverage, and one photographer was even trampled in the rush to get pictures of her and had to be hospitalized. This was in great contrast to her departure from England at the end of filming. By that time, the British press had turned against her husband, Arthur Miller. She had publicly feuded with Laurence Olivier. She had even worked hard to get Laurence Olivier replaced in the film that he had conceived of with Richard Burton. It was not a happy time filming all that. The drama was intense, and Marilyn was always late, even for press conferences. So there was a lot of pain and anguish and drama going on behind the scenes of this rather lighthearted, fluffy movie.
More drama off-screen than on-screen, by the sound of it. Danforth Prince, thank you very much.
A great honor. Nice to see you in Australia.
A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.